Welcome to the inaugural 2021 mayoral debate between two non-incumbent candidates, Alicia Purdy, a Republican, and Valerie Faust, a write-in candidate. There is a third non-incumbent candidate in the race, Greg Idala. He had a scheduling conflict and could not join us at this time. My name is Mark Ronich. I run an independent news organization, Statewide News Service. I began the company in 1981 while I was still a student at University of Albany. I will serve as the moderator of the event. This debate is intended to also serve as an educational tool for broadcast students. We are taping at the student-run radio station, WCDB 90.9 FM. Thank you to the management of the radio station for allowing us to use their facility. It's where I got my start in my broadcasting career. This debate is also brought to you courtesy of Albany's Community Media Center, Channel Albany. Thank you for the use of your equipment. We are also joined by Albany Student Television, the university's go-to organization for filming, editing, and recording needs. The format for this debate will begin with opening remarks from each candidate. Then we will alternate between the two candidates, giving their thoughts and criticisms about how the capital city is being run. Who knows, you might even hear a compliment or two about the current 8-year administration. So let's get started. Alicia, you're up first with an opening statement.
All right, thank you, Mark. Hey, Albany, I'm Alicia Purdy. I am the Republican candidate for mayor of the city of Albany. My plan for the city of Albany is called Operation Transform. You can look at that on transformalbany.com. It's a comprehensive, sweeping set of plans and strategies to address our many needs in the city of Albany. We're a complex organism with a lot of diversity of thought, diversity of culture. And one of the things that we can all agree on amid all of our diversity is what is happening in Albany is clearly not working. The administration isn't working. Historically, we've struggled, and the struggles continue in the city of Albany on every level. And so one of the things that I bring to the table as a candidate is not only a fresh set of eyes, but fresh vision for the city of Albany for our transformation. And I do believe that in order to bring transformation to the city, we have to be willing to do something transformative. And maybe that's transforming how we think of who we're going to vote for, or what a political candidate should be, or what a mayor should do in the city of Albany. So I hope as things unfold tonight, you get a better picture of not only Operation Transform, but a sense of me as a candidate. I call myself the People's Mayor, and I've been very accessible, and I hope that if you have questions after the fact, I'm always open to that. So thank you, Mark, for that time.
Okay, and Valerie Faust, you're up next.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Faust, and I'm a write-in candidate, Democrat, and I am running in the general election, because I really believe that we need a change, and I feel that I'm a good representative to run for mayor in this city. I've been here a long time working in the trenches and helping around the city with different communities. And so my reason for running for mayor is because I cannot sit around any longer and watch the present administration tear the city up. People are sad, people are broken, people are disillusioned, and we need a new mayor in that seat to bring back the hope and the faith, and also the idea of we can be the greatest city in this New York State. We're the capital, after all. We have to do more. You can reach me and get my information at Faust for Albany, and you can go to my Facebook page and you could send me a inbox. I will return an answer to you. So I'm here for change. Join the community for change.
Well, thank you, Valerie, very much. And now we move on to our first question, which goes to Alicia. This question is about youth. In the city of Albany, there are tennis courts, a skate park, basketball courts, soccer programs, and indoor volleyball games. There are probably additional programs besides sports activities that are available as well. Do you feel there are enough programs for youngsters to engage in during the summer and after school hours? As mayor, what would you add to the list? What would you distract youngsters predisposed to causing violence and getting into trouble with the police?
Okay, it's a lot of questions. Remind me if I forget one of them. So the first thing is the City of Albany does have a number of programs, but you're right, a lot of them are largely sports-based. I have noticed that. I'm the mother of 5 children, and not all of my children are sporty, and not all of them like to read books. And one of the things I've heard as I've been out and about speaking with people, especially if they're older, they kind of remember the old days of Albany when you would come home and you would come to a community center. And one of the things, I think that's probably the number one answer I hear when I'm hearing from people about youth, is that there isn't something for them to do. And you look around and say, well, there's basketball. Well, I want to play basketball. What would I do to distract youth? One of the major things that we need to have is we need to make sure that the diversity of opportunities for youth is available. There are people doing good work in the City of Albany in a diverse array of areas that does reach youth that aren't basketball. However, the City of Albany has done an extremely poor job of employing good people who care. And I don't use employment to say a city paycheck. I guess I should use the word deploying them. People who care about the thing that they're doing. So we do have skate parks. We have people who, let's get even a little narrower, they want to reach transgendered kids who skate so that they don't commit suicide. That's a really small subset of youth in the City of Albany, but they still need to be served. And I don't believe, one of my major perspectives as a candidate is I don't believe that government holds all the answers. I believe that power is in people and that the people of Albany are our greatest resource. And so to keep kids busy, that's going to be an array. But you know what's great about a community center is a lot of kids can come and be safe there and do a lot of different things. And so one of the first things I would do was harness the power of community centers, fix them up, open them up, bring kids into community centers so they have a safe place to go after school. We do have great programs. We have PAL, but it simply isn't enough, and we can all see that it's not working. So that's where I would begin, is I would enrich and expand our community centers, and then I would deploy good people who care, whose hearts are in the work for the City of Albany already, and come alongside them as well.
Well, you answered all the questions, so
right
thank you.
Okay.
Would you like me to repeat it?
I sure do.
Okay. All right, Valerie. In the City of Albany, there are tennis courts, a skate park, basketball courts, soccer programs, and indoor volleyball games. There are probably additional programs besides sports activities that are available as well. Do you feel there are enough programs for youngsters to engage in during the summer and after school hours? As mayor, what would you add to the list? How would you distract youngsters predisposed to causing violence and getting into trouble with the police?
Okay, number one, they do have a lot of programs, but the programs are scattered. They're not really working together. On that question, one of the things I'd like to do is to find out all the programs that are out there for the children, who is repeating the same thing another program is doing down the street, who is not really working a good program, where's money wasted. And so, no, although there are many different programs, they're not effective. And we could tell that by the outcome of the children on the street and parents complaining and schools complaining. So I think that what we need to do is, as Alicia said, basketball is not all that our kids want to do. There are more things. My sorority, they have programs that put kids into technological training so that they can learn more about engineering and things like that. So I think we can add programs. I would like a one-stop shop kind of community center where they could come. Those who like to play basketball can play that. Those who want to learn more about math, geometry, and deeper, they can do that. Children who want to just come and play games, board games or whatever from one age to the other can come and find something at this one-stop center. So yeah, there are a lot of programs, but they're not working together. They're not effective enough, and we need to bring them together, eliminate what's not working, bring together and tighten up those that are working, and then create some more ideas by listening to the community about what they would like to see their children doing.
Thank you, Valerie. And the next question goes to you. We alternate between the candidates. The topic is gang violence. We've seen a rash of violence on the streets of Albany over the past several months. The State Attorney General had a news conference where there was an arrest of many gang members from Albany and throughout the Capital District. The mayor and police chief of Albany both attended the news conference, and no reporter asked the mayor about forestalling gang violence. What would you do to relieve the city of gang violence? Do you need a group like the Guardian Angels to come back and patrol our streets? Are the police showing they are ineffective and stymied by this?
Yes, the police are showing that they're ineffective and they're stymied. And that's not taking anything from the police. It's a whole community thing. It's not just the police to go out there and stop the violence. It's not just the mayor's job. It's the community's job. It's the parents. It's the school teachers. It's all of our jobs to get together to find out why our kids are running crazy in the street, why they are not only gun violence, they're using knives and knifing each other. And it's not only that, there's rapes going on, there are burglaries, there are people walking in neighborhoods that they're seeing on their sign, on their cameras, pulling on their car doors to see what they can steal out of a car. These are people who need to be helped, need programs that can help them. And our gangs out there, people are, I heard even in the administration that it wasn't gang related or it's not a retaliating incident, but it is gang related in many cases. It is a retaliation in many cases. And what do we need to do? We need to deal with people. We already saw that closing down businesses is not a deterrent. We already saw that calling in the state police is not a deterrent. It's not, the things that are being tried are not helping. This is why we need new vision. This is why we need new ideas, fresh eyes looking at our situations, because what we are doing is not working. And as long as it is not working, we're going to keep getting the same problems. What I would like to do is get to the gang leaders. I was told by someone recently that you cannot talk to the young men who are actually doing the crime. You have to get to the president of that gang. You have to get to the OG, which is the old gangster, and get to them. And if you could get to them, which I can because I'm in the streets and I know people who know who to contact, and get them to talk to their people and get them around the table and get them into discussions with the police, with community leaders, with their parents, with their relatives. And I think that when you reach people and give them respect and really, really show interest in them, and on top of showing interest, convince them that what we come down with to do to help them, we're going to do it. We're going to follow through. And I think that's what it is. And of course, jobs. And once you take a gun out of someone's hand, they turn it in. What are you going to do? Once you take a knife out of someone's hand, what are you going to do? So we have to have that conversation, and it's going to take all of us to do that.
In the mid-'80s, the Guardian Angels were in Albany. Are you a proponent of the Guardian Angels? Should they come back?
No. I think we have people. I think, when I lived in Brooklyn, I'm from Bed-Stuy, New York and Brooklyn, and we had neighborhood watch. We had people sitting in our hallways on shifts. We wouldn't let certain people in if they didn't have a key. We had people who were walking the neighborhoods at certain times, families with their children walking around. And we had people who were not afraid to say, you know what, I saw your son with a gun. We had mothers that said, if you ever seen my child out there acting up, let me know. Today it's a little different, but that's why we have to gather the people together, mothers and grandmothers and aunties and the police and probation and all these people together. Okay. We can do this job.
Thank you.
We can do it without outside help.
I see. And Alicia, I should...
let's see if I got it all.
Okay.
All right. So let me know if I didn't get it all. So yes, the current administration has turned Albany into a dumpster fire. Absolutely. We can all see that. And almost any question you're ever going to ask me about running the city of Albany, I am always going to give you people as the solution. Like I said, I really believe people are the greatest resource. The current administration's failure has, first of all, let me just stop and say this. There will always be crime in the world. There will always be violent people in the world. That simply is just the nature of the world that we live in. Now that we've accepted that reality, we have a choice. We are a civilized society of law and order. We do have parameters in place, and one of the things the current administration has utterly failed to do, I could name example after example, and so can you, they have failed to uphold the laws and the ordinances we already have in place. We don't even have to pass any new laws. We actually have laws. We simply need to be able to enforce those laws. And in terms of the police response to things like the riots in Pine Hills, for example, or even a protest down in South Station, there are laws and ordinances governing how you even behave in a street. One of the things that the police department is afraid of is they're now become afraid to do their job, because we have seen that the current administration not only does not back police officers, even if they do make a mistake in human error or they make a panicked judgment, this administration is willing to make an example out of them, and that terrifies officers. It makes them not want to come and work in the city of Albany. We're hemorrhaging police officers in the city, and so we don't have. Let me tell you what we don't have to address gang violence.
What proof do you have that the current administration doesn't support the police? That the police officers are fearful?
First of all, I have the good authority of a number of police officers, boots on the ground, who are leaving the city of Albany for that very reason. They're going to the state troopers. They're going to the sheriff's department. They're going to corrections facility. They're going to prison. They'd rather work in prison than work in the city of Albany. And I always tell them, please wait until after the election. That being said, when it comes to gang violence, and I'm not gonna give you pro-police answers for everything, but they are a component of the law and order and the safety of our city.
Yeah.
And one of the things we don't have a strong anti-gang violence unit. We do not. We do not have a strong intelligence unit in the city of Albany. We have a garbage tech support system where I actually had somebody who studied hacking and cybersecurity and said they were able to hack. If they wanted to, they could easily hack into the Albany City Police Department, no problem. So the slow siphoning off and yes, it has been a defunding of the police budget in the city of Albany all things have led us to this point. We don't have any weapons. We're almost defenseless in the city of Albany because of the failure to support our law and order and our safety via the Albany Police Department. So there's that as well. And then you asked about Curtis Sliwa and the Guardian Angels.
Right.
So I've said this before, whether or not that's a controversial, so I was a kid in the 80s, but one of the things that I have said right now is we are on fire, all hands on deck. And if somebody would like to come and help us recover and be part of our transformation, I'm not turning help away. I don't think we're in a position, and that's one of the things the current administration has done. I could tell you story after story of developers and security people. All kinds of different entities have approached the current administration to help what we're going through, and they have been turned away or they've been buried in red tape. And so that's got to stop. And so I say if Curtis Leo wants to come and he wants to help out for a little bit, he can come talk to Alicia Purdy for mayor and see what we can figure out.
Okay. And he's got his own candidacy running.
He
as a
does. He's running for
Republican,
mayor of New York City.
As a Republican, yes. So we'll see if he
we
still
shall
has time
see.
after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next question goes to Alicia, and the topic is neighborhood safety. In the Whitehall and Buckingham Pond area, some members of the community are fearful of anti-Semitic attacks and taunting by drive-by Jew haters. It has gotten to the point where the synagogue where one synagogue on Whitehall Road received approval to install an 8-foot fence around their 6-acre property. What would you propose to do to stem this type of violence and make our neighborhoods safer?
The first thing I want to be extremely clear about, so people understand and they can manage their expectations for an administration and under my leadership, is I have absolutely zero tolerance for racism in any form. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your job position is. I don't care what your title is. I don't care what your station in life is. Racism in any form is off the table as far as I'm concerned. And we can see that we have these issues. And we've had that issue where the governors had to come up before and address issues that are at the Jewish synagogues. So here's one of the first things I would do. One of the things that area doesn't actually have very much of is any kind of neighborhood intelligence or police presence. You think because it's maybe an upper ward or it's a nicer area of town that maybe they don't need it, but here we are. We've got this obvious problem. And so I'll say this again. One of the things I would love to see in the city of Albany would be an intelligence unit, undercover unit, people who can track social media, people who can start to observe and create patterns of behavior for people who are anti-Semitic, or they have racism against Black community members in the city of Albany, or whatever that is, Hispanic, Asian, gay, whatever that is that somebody is, I will fight to protect their autonomy as a human being, their value, their dignity, and their worth. And so I would start there with bringing in, like I said, I would love to create something where we can have a greater level of intelligence of what is going on right under our nose in our city. And from there, certainly community plays a role in that as well. But I'm done with the victim nature in the city of Albany, and it's time now to fight back. And there are ways, and under my leadership, I fully intend to produce a return on our tax investment that goes to our public safety.
Okay, thank you. And Valerie, you are a reverend.
Yes, I am.
This is a Jewish-centric question, but I just wanted to get your opinion about this. Do you want me to repeat the question?
I don't think so,
Okay.
but if I miss something,
I'll
please
let
me
Yes.
know. This is very sensitive to me because as an African American in this city and around wherever I go, I have had those type of experiences.
Which
in Cohoes, I was driving, I used to do my radio station out in Cohoes, and I'd go there once a week, and one day I was leaving there, and I was parked, and I saw these cute little teenage girls, looked like junior high school girls, and they were giggling and laughing on the corner. And I was in my car admiring them, and and just said, "That's so nice." I remember my school days, and I looked ahead. But then when I pulled off, they said, "Get out of our town, nigger." And I could say that word. And so when I hear that these type of things are happening to any race, it hurts me to my heart. There's always going to be people who are racist and prejudiced and just downright ignorant. And so we have to be able to do things to protect ourselves from that. So when you talk about anti-Semitism, it hits me hard. So what would I do? In my city, when we had these problems, Brooklyn, because that's where I'm from.
Right. I am too, by the way. I grew up in Mill Basin.
Okay.
Yeah, so two different worlds, Bedford-Stuy
Yeah.
and Mill Basin, but still, we're both Brooklyn.
Right, people who need to be loved and helped and cared for, accepted and respected. It's people. And so, I would have to call together some sort of meeting where we meet to have an organization that comes against these type of behaviors. We're going to have, like I said, we're not getting rid of these type of people, but we certainly can do things to stop them from coming into our neighborhoods on that level. Again, neighborhood watches, cameras, and also following through with penalties, police penalties for it, because some people think it's funny. It's not funny. My niece was out trick-or-treating, and a car full of white guys threw eggs at her. They egged her. And when she told the police, they said, oh, they were just having fun. So we need a sensitivity all around in this city so that people could understand when one race has stepped on, we all are made less. We all are taken down. So, I would get a group of people together to look closely at these situations, because remember we had to have the big event for Asians who were being attacked and being horrified by people who came against them. So I think we could get all the races together who are interested in sitting down at the table and getting some racial sensitivity, learning about people, because ignorance and a misunderstanding of who I am because of my color, you treat me bad. And so we need people together to learn more about each other, learn about our cultures, to learn about our differences, and even to be honest, very honest about our prejudices.
So it's increasing education.
It's increasing education among all of us, and we need to make that happen.
And Valerie, the next question goes to you. It's about public safety. Your opponent here just mentioned something about defunding the police. I was going to ask, do you support defunding the police? I'm told that 1/3 of recruits drop out of the academy for failing to pass the mental health portion of the program. how would you get more people to go through the police academy successfully?
Well, I'm absolutely not against defunding the police. We need them. We need them. Just talking about the things we just talked about, gang violence.
So that means you're in favor of defunding? Or
No,
you're not?
I'm against it.
You're
Absolutely against
the police.
defunding.
Okay.
Yes, let's make that clear. Not only am I absolutely against defunding, I'm for giving them some more money because they do a stellar job. There's some mistakes. They're not perfect. There are some issues within the police department. But again, training, sensitivity training, learning about the cultures that they serve. A lot of them don't live in the city. And so they need to learn about the people that they serve. And I think that will help with the community and the police getting together and getting along rather than fighting one another and causing all this chaos. I think.
What about the mental health issue with the recruits and getting more of the stable recruits that
well, in
go
that
through the academy?
in that respect, who is determining that they're not fit mentally? I have a young man. His mother came to me. He's never been in trouble. He's a college-educated football player, doing all the right things, and they turned him down. Never told him that they turned him down. He didn't know until he called them up to ask them why he hadn't heard from them, and they said because he was turned down. Didn't get a letter, didn't get anything at all. And the other side of that is why would someone want to turn away people that they need
because they have
on their mental issue? You know, and this is I tell stories because they're relative to what I'm talking to. Relevant, yeah. Excuse me, relevant to what I'm talking about. My husband filed for, he was a military police in the Air Force, and he came out and he applied for our local police department, and they termed that he had a mental, he didn't pass the mental part. He sued, and they looked at the test, and the test was fixed.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
wow.
And he won, and we won some money. So,
Okay.
So you have to, who's making the determination that all of these people who are coming are unfit? And definitely if they are, we do not want them. But the other problem is the people who are coming, because I also took the police community course, and they said they can't even keep ones that they do get because the pay is so low, and they get the training and they run off to the state police. So there's a whole lot of revamping our police department needs. There's a whole lot of retraining and maybe some new leadership in some respects. I don't know all the answers, but what I do know is that as mayor, that is one thing we would have to do: get the police department right and tight and up and doing what they're supposed to do, and getting some good recruits to come in there, and making sure that whoever is disqualifying them is doing it rightfully, and not because of race and not because of ideology, but because they really are having a mental issue going on in their lives.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you for that. It was very well. It gave me new insight. So thank you. And Alicia, do you want me to repeat the question?
Yes, if you would.
Okay. So do you support defunding the police? I'm told that 1/3 of recruits drop out of the academy for failing to pass the mental health portion of the program. How would you get more people to go through the police academy successfully?
So those are two separate
Yes.
questions. The first one is, do I support defunding the police? Hard stop, no. In fact, what we have right now in the city of Albany is a defunding of the police. Not many people are aware that just in the 2020 budget alone, the operating budget of the Albany Police Department is missing $600,000. And I can tell you 5 things off the top of my head we could have done with that missing $600,000. We're hemorrhaging money in the city of Albany on wasteful spending, and it's been siphoned off. And now, when you talk about in terms of recruits coming in, we can transition over to mental health, but let me just say this first. We're also hemorrhaging officers, like I said. We're down, if you talk to the current administration, they're going to say we're down, 30 to 35 people. The real number, boots on the ground, we're looking at about 85 upward to close to 100, and every couple weeks we're losing more.
Well, that's what I always thought, it was about 85.
Well, I'll tell you how they're counting it, Mark. What the current administration is counting when they're giving this lowball number, they're counting people on maternity leave, people serving in Afghanistan, and they're counting people on the city payroll, including recruits, and not actually boots on the ground serving the city of Albany. We have 19 policing zones, and we have about anywhere between 17 and 18 individuals that serve that type of policing at any given time. They're spread too thin. And so, first of all, without refunding, giving them even more money, if all I did was just bring the budget back up to where it was a year and a half ago, with that missing $600,000, we would be able to have an illegal ATV bike force to meet force with force. There are grants available, all kinds of things that we don't even have to spend money on. If all I ever did was stop contracting with Nissan and the police cars, we would save $70,000 a month in our budget. So, first of all, we can actually solve some of our police payment problems. Did you know that they've been without a contract since 2016? Because the current mayor has refused to budge on certain stipulations. She wants them defunded. She wants them spread thin. I don't know what that agenda is there, but I completely disagree with it. And so defunding, hard stop, no. Just let's bring them back up to where they even were and start there. And then, did you know that it actually takes more education to become a licensed hairdresser in the state of New York than it does to become a police officer? And you have to continue your education when you're a hairdresser on how to dye hair or whatever that might be. Yes. Whereas when you get out of police academy, even should you make it through, you don't have to have continuing legal education, and so we need money for that as well, because one of the things that happened, remember when the police covered their badges in South Station? People were very upset about that, and I was too, because again, I want to uphold the law, and whatever the law is, it needs to be honored, and that applies to all people in the city of Albany. However, one of the things that I heard was that because of the lack of continuing legal education, it used to be okay under the law to cover your badge. And then that changed. And there were certain people who simply didn't know. Other people, maybe they just didn't comply. That's a different ball of wax. But what I'm saying is that's just one microcosm of an example of our police not receiving the kind of education, mental health support. And by the way, if you have a mental health issue, depending on what that is, there could still be a place for you in a technology department. There could still be a place for a police recruit in an intelligence unit, like I was discussing before. Maybe you're not a boots on the ground officer, but you're someone who works behind a desk. The military has stipulations like that, where there's a certain length that they're willing to go because they try to find a place for as many people as there can be to serve and protect our nation. A similar perspective. And so when it comes to how would I retain or make sure there are more graduates, first of all, we need to attract the best. And Albany is not attracting the best, not at all. This is a dumpster fire and everybody's running from it. Second of all, if somebody is having a mental health struggle, I definitely think we need to, it's not a black and white answer. It's an answer to say, okay, what is that struggle? Is it something that prevents you from doing the best job for the city of Albany? Is there a fit for you? Or is a different career a better match for what you bring to the table?
Okay. So the next question goes to Alicia.
Okay.
And it's about economic development. Many businesses in Albany and elsewhere have closed due to the pandemic during the past 2 years. Many hardships were relieved by federal bailout money. Is the federal bailout money the correct course of action? What can the city of Albany do to be more independent, helping businesses and improve the city's economy, other than wait for such assistance? What would you do in your administration?
Well, that's a long answer, so I'm going to give you the bullet pointed version,
Thank you
Mark.
very
Although
much.
I will say, if you come to Transform Albany, I've gone to extensive lengths to lay this out. And so I'm going to reiterate some of the things that are already in place on my website. My tax plan is there. My plan for small businesses is there. It's all there under Operation Transform. Opportunities. And so when it comes, first of all, I really believe that small business is one of the backbones I actually think that our workforce is another backbone. So we can't have a bunch of backbones, but small business is going to be instrumental to the transformation of the city of Albany. And shame on the current administration for failing to honor small businesses. They suffered through COVID. Many of them closed, like you said, but they didn't just close because of economic reasons. You know why they're pulling up stakes? Because there's vagrancy and people wandering in. I can name 3 restaurants off the top of my head. One of them is the Gateway Diner. There's a panhandler on Everett Road. Everybody knows who he is. He stands there and does this. That's in my neck of the woods. And what he does is he wanders into the Gateway and demands Sharpies for his shirts. And if he does not get his Sharpie, he causes havoc in the restaurant. Now, they can't get the police to come. We've got 19 policing zones to cover and not enough police. And it's not a violent crime. He's just being a jerk. And so, or he's having a mental health crisis. We don't have mobile health units like we did. And so, anyway, our small businesses are suffering not only economically, they're suffering socioeconomically from a failure to uphold the laws and ordinances in the city of Albany. One of the things that I suggested as a recovery move going forward is that, yes, using COVID relief money. Look, the fact is that COVID relief money is a significant chunk of our city's operating budget. I think we're at $180.8 million, I think the last I checked, for the city's operating budget. And we came into roughly $80 million. This isn't going to happen again, and we have to be wise with how we use that money. One of the things I'll do with small businesses is I would love to see something like maybe a sales tax holiday. One of the ideas that I floated with small businesses is to have, we already have something where there's an Albany gift card that floats around that you can purchase. I want to build that up. You know what I want to bring that would really build up small businesses? Tourism and revenue from tourism. But you know what you don't want to do when you come to the city of Albany? You don't want to get shot in the face. And so we have to deal with our public safety, and it's going to start and end there. But when we convert over into a city where they know, a gang member knows, a wayward youth knows, if I do it in Albany, I'm going to get caught and I'm going to have a record instead of a resume. Totally different program, by the way. That is a great idea of mine. One of the things they're going to realize when we start to convert that over and we start to see it in real time is that small businesses are going to say, okay, so now if I have a problem, I can call for help, and there is help. Forget even just fiscally. But now we attract tourism because we're a safe city. Now people come to our restaurants. We have amazing restaurants in the city of Albany, and restaurants are just one tiny microcosm. We've got apparel businesses. We've got, you know what we don't have? We don't have a McDonald's anymore in the city of Albany. Not even McDonald's can survive in the South End in Albany. What a shame down there in pastures and way down on Pearl Street.
Isn't there on Holland and Hackett? There's a McDonald's on Holland.
There is, but I'm talking way downtown. Okay. I'm talking that it cannot. Yes, we have McDonald's, but we have them in areas that are not as challenged with crime.
I see.
And so we've got to address those areas of challenge because there are businesses down there. The Pearl Street Pub, the Pearl Street Diner, they're pulling up stakes and leaving. And so, anyway, all that to say, with small businesses as a backbone and emphasizing our safety first, it'll start there. But I have a couple ideas when it comes to taxes and revenue in the city of Albany that benefit small businesses to say, like I said, a sales tax holiday, some kind of featured business where people can come and celebrate a business, get great visibility through the city. We create commercials and programs that feature all the wonderful things we have, but first we have to be safe so that they can come and enjoy it.
Okay. Valerie, do you want me to repeat the question?
Yes, would you?
Okay.
I was listening to.
This is economic development is the topic. Many businesses in Albany and elsewhere have closed due to the pandemic during the last 2 years. Many hardships were relieved by federal bailout money. Is the federal bailout money the correct course of action? What can the city of Albany do to be more independent, helping businesses and improve the city's economy, other than wait for such assistance? What would you do in your administration?
Well, number one, businesses were suffering before COVID. There's an 8-year administration that has been in place that has not really done anything to promote businesses in the city. You know, when you talk about economic development and businesses, there are three, in my opinion, there are three components. Number one, help the businesses that you already have to thrive. Find out what their problems are. For instance, on Central Ave, there are tons of business up and down Central Ave. And when I talked to those people there, they said, we're having 2 more businesses opening across the street, and the parking is horrible. It's not enough time for them on the meter. They're getting tickets, they're double parking, and we need some kind of relief for our businesses in this area. So help the business that you already have. Number 2, try to get people together to create new businesses. Get youth together. Get idle some of these programs that we were talking about to keep youth off the street. Get a business training program that they can work with the city to bring into reality. The city will support it. They will create something. They will come together with their ideas so you can create new businesses. The other component is bringing in new businesses from other places who are looking to pull up their stakes and want to really come to the capital area, but the capital area is not on par. It's not the type of city it should be. I think any city with capital on it should be, as we say, the bomb. We should be the beacon on the hill, and that's not what it is. So to bring in new businesses and to create new businesses within the city and to help the businesses that are already running in the city, we have to look at that budget and work on how we spend our money. Where's this money going? Our people, we need to help our city to thrive. We need to help our city to thrive. Now, when you talk about businesses, then you're talking about taxes. If you have healthy businesses, you have people paying for services and paying for items that they need, and so money is coming around. We're talking about taxes increasing. We're talking about people wanting to come and you come into the city and not be shot at. So I'm telling you, it's a whole mishmash of things that we have to do in the city to make it the city that it should be. Now, the other part, and I think I'm forgetting that now,
No,
Mark, am I?
Good.
Okay.
Good.
So what should we do? We have to build up our economy, and that builds up our taxes, and that builds up our kids. It's a threefold thing. You can help the youth. You can help the businesses that are here already. You can. Alicia mentioned people coming to Albany, but they also need to come because we have something for them to do other than eat. Mm-hmm. They want to get rid of the Christmas lights in the park. What do you have? You have the museum. My 13-year-old said, we drove by the museum the other day. She said, oh, we went there. I said, oh, you don't sound too enthused. She said, because it's boring. There's nothing, And so we need to have things in the city that draws people.
Are exciting.
That make excited.
Would you think of an aquarium or a zoo?
Yes. Why would that be so hard?
You'd be supportive of that?
I sure would.
Okay.
I mean, if you can tear up Lincoln Park and build a water by the water people excuse me.
Building a reservoir.
That I know,
Yeah.
but so you have money to do that. You have money to build a skyway. So there are funds, but how do we use it?
Are you in favor, Alicia?
We need something for people that want to come see here in Albany, to bring their kids to use the hotels. We have tons of hotels that's underused. Yes, so bring the people in and do a I Love Albany thing like we used to do for I Love New York, and promos and things like that to help our city. We need help.
Okay, thank you.
We need help.
So I brought up an extraneous topic, and I want to give you a chance to zoos and aquariums. I mean,
Yes.
is that something you would
Absolutely.
endorse?
Let me give you two ideas off the top of my head that I've already thought would be a wonderful attraction. The State Museum, I don't think it's changed. First of all, I want to say I actually love the State Museum, but in all fairness, I love it like you love like an aging uncle.
Yeah.
You're like, I love him. He's never going to change. I do agree. That being said, the two ideas that I think are workable and are a real fit for the city of Albany. Now, this is not necessarily something COVID relief money could be used for. I just want to put that out there. There are other channels, and I know several developers who would be very interested in this idea.
Okay, I'm waiting.
And a children's science museum.
Oh.
A large-scale science museum that supports STEM activities. They have them in other cities. They have one in Baltimore. They've got one in Birmingham, Alabama.
My side.
They've got my side,
Yeah.
but I'm talking much larger scale than that.
Okay.
I've been to some around the country. I've been to one in Salt Lake City, one in Birmingham, Alabama, and one in Baltimore, Maryland. They are large scale. They're a major tourist grab, and they really provide something to the children that live there. They're in an urban area where children who don't have access to transportation can get to. That's idea number one. Let me give you my second idea, the Albany City Cultural Bazaar, where we really create something that utilizes the riverfront, where cultures in the city of Albany can come and they can maybe it's, I don't know, we'll have to work it out. Maybe it's once a year, maybe it's once a month, where people come and you can walk down the riverfront, you can walk down a street in Albany and there's food and there's music and there's maybe dance performances and there's things that celebrate culture that represents us here in the city of Albany, a city of diverse cultures. And I envisioned this whole Albany, I would love to celebrate this by doing the Albany City Cultural Bazaar. People would know, almost like a farmer's market, to come once a weekend on a Sunday, once a month, and enjoy the cultural bazaar. Come get some food, kick around a park with your kids. Don't get shot in the face though, we got to address that first. And then we can enjoy the Children's Science Museum and the Albany City Cultural Bazaar.
Okay, thank you for that. I want to give equal time, so
Thank you.
Be fair. Okay, now we're going to get into, Valerie, this is for you. Taxes. What is your plan to boost revenue for the city of Albany besides taxing everyone to death? Are there other remedies?
Yes, there are other remedies.
Thank you. No, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, there are other remedies. And just mentioned in my last statement about boosting economic development, bringing more businesses in, creating more businesses, helping businesses that are here, that people come and they spend money and pay taxes on things that that money goes towards taxes. And
Right,
things.
but if you're not, but should we be doing something else other than taxing people to death?
Sure, let me finish.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go right ahead. You were pausing.
Okay, I love, yeah. And so, yeah, there are other things you can do. You know, even, let's start with the COVID relief money that we got, 80 plus million. I went on the web, since I've been running for mayor, I've been doing things as a mayor would that should be looking at what other cities are doing, what are other mayors doing. And one of the things I found out that was being done, some cities were putting moratoriums on taxes, that we will not raise the tax this year. We will not raise it for the next 2 years. We are shifting money in the budget to do X, Y, and Z, and that will be able to lift the burden off of taxpayers. Another city, what they did was have the people who were paying the school taxes and paying the homeowner taxes get together and come up with an idea that would alleviate the increase of taxes. So the first one was putting the moratorium on it, that we are telling you we're not going to raise taxes for the next year or two, and we are going to do different things with our budget to make sure that it works. And so the other one was putting the people together, and they came up with ideas about, because you know that we have to have taxes. It makes the city go round. It pays salaries. So as much as we hate taxes, we need them, but we don't need to tax the people to death when we are wise with the money that we get, and shifting money around, not the old saying, rob Paul to pay Peter type of thing, but actually looking at the money that we have and seeing where the waste is, because there are wastes in the budget, and seeing where priorities are and what can wait a year or two before you deal with it, and as you plan to deal with it better in the future. So yeah, there are things that you could do to increase revenue so that you don't have to increase the taxes on the people.
Okay, now you're done? Okay, thank you. Thank you for that in-depth answer. I appreciate it. And Alicia, what is your plan to boost revenue for the city of Albany besides taxing everyone to death? Are there other revenues?
Yes. So we know the old adage that there are two guarantees in this life: death and taxes. That could be the motto of the city of Albany. There are two guarantees in Albany: death and taxes right now under the current administration. So my plan for taxes in the city of Albany is, first of all, we have like 60% of our land in the city of Albany is off the tax roll. And that could be whether it's a hospital, a college,
religious
institution like a synagogue or a mosque or a Catholic church, whatever.
Well, Jewish community center.
Jewish community center. Yeah. And that's a separate ball of wax, and I have no intention of touching that aspect of it when it comes to non-tax property. However, what we really do have is a butt ton of blight. Did you know a butt ton is an actual unit of measurement?
Yes.
Okay, and not many people know that. We have a butt ton of blight in the city of Albany under the current administration, and so help me God, the Albany County Land Bank has tried to pick up the slack of this administration, and God bless their efforts, they're trying, but what a shame that it's gotten to this point where now the county has had to step in and help. And so all that stuff is off the tax rolls, but the red tape that it takes to get people into blighted homes, to fix them up. Did you know that when you get a home in the city of Albany, if it's blighted and it's earlier than a certain date, you have to fix it up according to its original specifications. Then you can modify it and modernize it. So you got to get those single pane wood windows and some leaded glass before you can get some vinyl windows so that your air conditioning, your heat is more efficient. Right now, that's how it is in the city of Albany. What a shame. The bureaucratic red tape is a load of garbage, but it is intentional, because what happens is when government gets bigger, the people suffer. And some of the solutions in the current administration to taxes, I'll tell you what it is right now. Has anyone ever run afoul of permits, fees, fines, code violations? That is how they're trying to offset the tax burden. One of the ideas that I had, you can see on my website under T for taxes and R for revenue, we discussed a couple ideas for that, is what if we do have COVID relief money, and one of the major lies that has been told to the city of Albany is that COVID relief money can't be used for this. That's a load of garbage. The language is extremely vague. I've consulted with attorneys and CPAs, and what they said was, if you can make it fit for COVID, you can use it in that way. So that's a load of garbage when you hear that you can't, there's a legal ramification here, but just let's speculate. Tear down the central warehouse. Right now it's privately owned, there's a whole thing there. But what I'm saying is, if it were not, and if it were you could just rip that thing right down. Did you know that during COVID, during 2020, all the codes and fees and fines for the current administration to fix up their house in Arbor Hill were waived? So guess what? If they want it to happen, it can happen. If you need something to happen in a hurry in the city of Albany, it actually can. It just depends on who your priorities are, and my priorities are people. So taxes, what if we spend a year with our COVID relief money and we don't increase taxes, and then the next year, should an increase have to happen, although I think with creative budgeting, actually, I'm very fiscally conservative, that will not have to happen. But let's just say, how about we offset it with a dollar for dollar match in another area? So we're all paying extra water, we're all paying extra garbage. We start to offset some of these issues that we're being buried in and nickel and dime to death over here while our taxes hold stable. So we need to increase our tax base. We all know that. Why isn't it being done? Because it doesn't serve the purpose of the current administration. But it actually can be done. I found you $600,000. I guarantee you I'll find you some more. In fact, I already have, but we won't. It's not part of this discussion. Just to say, we can get creative with our taxes, and they don't have to go up right now. They do not. We can spend a year figuring this out and holding in place while a new administration takes over and gets this budget. There are a lot of ambiguous places on that budget. Broad sweeping statements like personal expenses that are difficult to itemize, and I guarantee you all that I found is just the tip of the iceberg. So don't buy the lie. There is something that can be done about taxes in the city of Albany, but it's going to start with a new mayor.
Okay. Thank you. Alicia, this question goes to you. It's about affordable housing. In your opinion, do we have enough affordable housing in the city of Albany? I know when my friends come to visit, they think the prices of home ownership is a bargain compared to where they come from. What is your view about this? Do we really have a problem?
We have a monumental problem, Mark, but there's not an easy solution, and I'll tell you why. So we recently just passed Local Law F, which is fair housing legislation, is what it was called. And that is a very hot topic in the city of Albany because what it essentially does is it put a 5% cap on any rental increases. So a landlord cannot raise the rent along the same progress in the inflation of the economy. And so as the economic prices go up in the wider world, a landlord is capped at 5%. And what's happening there, and it's going to trickle down to the residents, even though fair housing legislation sounded like a great idea. The reason why I didn't support it as it was passed, I'm going to be really specific with my language there, as it was passed, is because the trickle-down effect is actually going to punish tenants in the end. When landlords pull up and sell their houses, it's happening already because they realize they're also a small business in the city of Albany. I'm not pro-landlord and I'm not pro-tenant. I'm pro-city of Albany. And what we have is not benefiting either side. So let me just give you an example. There's a bunch of new housing that the current administration just put up, and they clipped their ribbon and they put out a press release. And the starting rent in this housing, which is considered livable in the city of Albany, is $1,200 to $1,500, depending. And that's supposed to be livable. And what's going to happen is they're going to subsidize that with more federal money and call it low income. That's a load of garbage. $1,500 in the city of Albany should get you a house. And so what I would like to do is I would like to clear a path for home ownership in the city of Albany. Remove red tape from all these codes and this double retrofitting and all the things that have to be done in the city of Albany before you can clear a path. You're going to have a whole common council meeting in order for somebody to just get a house. But if the current administration wants a house, well, they're just going to go get it. It's unfair to the people of Albany, and it sends a terrible message. And so do I think we have enough affordable housing? No. Do I think we have enough housing that we could use that isn't being used and we could figure that aspect out? Absolutely. Developers and landlords actually want to do this with their life's work, but they're being throttled out from pouring into the city of Albany. And tenants suffer in the end. They're going to suffer because the landlords are going to leave, the government's going to take over, and all the prices are going to go up, and then the federal government's going to support us. That is not the path forward under my administration for the city of Albany. Like I said, I'm very fiscally conservative. We're going to use what we have. We're going to figure out a way to clear a path for people to not have to be eternal renters. Let's get them on the tax roll. Let's get you into a home. Now you've got some equity. You've got something to sell when you do want to leave. You could buy a better home because you have something you can get a loan on. Anyway, I could do this all day. So all that to say, there's a lot of work to be done when it comes to affordable housing, but clearly what we have is not working, and tenants are going to pay the price in the end.
And do we have enough affordable housing?
No.
I mean, aside from the price being maybe too high, but you think we need more affordable housing? Well,
we have a large unhoused population in the city of Albany. We do. We do have people who are struggling to pay their rent and people who are struggling. So when you say affordable housing.
Right. What's affordable?
There you go. I don't know if that's a rhetorical question or not, but no, what is affordable? Because we have people who are working low-wage jobs.
Isn't there something about you only pay 1/3 of your income if you're unemployed or if you're of your income, if you're below a certain wage?
I don't know if that's in the city of Albany
Oh,
specifically.
maybe it's New York City.
That hasn't come across.
Well, maybe that's something.
Maybe it is something, but I will
model
tell you, somebody somewhere is paying for it. And so whether or not you pay, let's just speculate and say it's a third of your income that you pay if you make below a certain level. We have a lot of resources in the city of Albany to help people, and the county and the state actually do too, to help you stay in affordable housing and to get into affordable housing. The process is convoluted and impossible. And so in the meantime, we have eternal renters in the city of Albany when we could have a large swath of homeowners, even at the low income level, first-time home buyer loans. There's a lot of paths to get to success in Albany, but they've been blocked at every turn.
Okay. So, Valerie, I think this is a topic near and dear to your heart, maybe. Affordable housing, in your opinion, do we have enough affordable housing in the city of Albany? I know when my friends come to visit, and they come from Brooklyn, and you can know the prices of housing in Brooklyn, they visit and they think that the prices here for home ownership is a bargain compared to where they come from. What is your view about this, and do we really have an affordable housing problem?
We do. We do have an affordable housing problem, and your friends are correct, because you and I know what it costs to buy a home in Brooklyn, New York. So when they do come here, this is, real cheap. But for we who live here, we know that the cost of living is not keeping up with salaries and keeping up with the needs of the citizens. So in my experience, they are building a lot of what they call affordable housing, and these housing projects or units are made so cheaply. People are moving out. They're not staying there. You can hear a pin drop in your neighbor's house. Somebody's smoking weed. It smells like you're smoking it in your own house. So they're made so cheaply. So just because I'm poor doesn't mean that I don't want quality housing. Just because I'm in low-income housing doesn't mean I don't want it to be decent and safe. And so, yeah, they're building some things, but I think they are just a tad above of code. And so that's a problem. The other problem is we have all of these blighted buildings that landlords, I don't even know if the city have gone after these landlords, because if you send out notices, let there be a deadline. After you get your third notice, we're taking your property. If you're not going to pay the taxes, we're taking it, we're going to own it, we're going to sell it, or we're going to redo them and sell them to as affordable housing units. So, and then there are a lot of people in the city who say, I wanted to buy that building with the X on it. I wanted to buy that building that's been vacant and boarded up, and the city won't let me touch it. They won't give me information on it. Is the city getting tax money from these absentee landlords with these slum, torn-up houses? If they are, then that's a revenue, and I think you mentioned something about that, Alicia. That's revenue that can come in to the city. No, there's not enough affordable housing. That new building that was built on Central Avenue, is it called Swinburne? They said it's low income. If you get an application from them, the lowest salary to get in was $40,000 and change, and it goes up from there according to the size of apartment you want. So I called up just to check it out, and they have a waiting list. They're totally full. So who is able to pay all of that money for these apartments? And it's certainly not someone who is applying for Section 8, although if they are getting federal money, they have to have a certain amount of low-income units. I think they said there's 70 in there. I'm not sure. But it's not enough. People are still on the street saying we don't have decent places there, and we don't have a voice for slumlords. So how are we going to fix this? I don't want to kill a landlord, and I don't want to kill the tenant. I think that they need to bring landlords and tenants together and find out how to fix this mess, because the way you make the landlords mad, the tenants pay. And so no,
it's
we
a
do not have enough.
Meeting of the minds.
The meeting of the minds. We
right.
need a meeting of the minds and not pitting them against each other. And that recent law they made, landlords were fighting to keep it from passing, and there were organizations fighting to pass it, and it did pass. So what are we going to do? It just made situations worse. And I think that as mayor, what I would do, as you mentioned, get people together, get these, have a code be really on the case of these builders that you're not, in a handicap apartment, just to give this example, I couldn't believe it. The toilet is over here. You nearly break your neck falling off of the toilet to get to the paper holder.
Oh.
That's how far it is. I mean, I know it may be a little graphic there.
It wasn't well thought out.
You know, it wasn't well thought out. And it's so many of these problems. So you have someone on low income saying, I know, God, I thank you for this apartment, but this is not working. I can't sleep for the loud music. I can't do this. I can't do that. And so we need to come up with new ideas. We need to really do what we can to help our tenants and to also get landlords to understand that tenants are not the enemy. And landlords really aren't either, although they can improve in helping the situation. So I would bring people together and then also do what I can to get people to own those blighted houses, and then also have a budget to help them to bring it into a home, a livable home.
So, okay, thank you for that. We have, the next question goes to you, Valerie. It's environmental issues. And in your opinion, do we have a sound environmental policy in the city? Do
No.
we need more alternative energy choices? Is Tivoli Lake a shining example of better environmental policy, or when do you see improvement? Where do you see improvements needed? And is the Clinton Avenue walkway over to the Hudson and Corning Preserve that's being built now a good way to spend taxpayer dollars when we have so many other financial needs?
That's a loaded question.
Well, it's a lot of questions in there.
It's loaded, that statement, yes. So I'm sure you're going to have to bring me.
I'll keep you.
But I'll start on the last part, the Skyway. I think it's a waste. And I think it would be nice to have that at a time in the future. But when you have people who need a good, affordable housing, when you have businesses that need help, when you have a need for programs for youth, when you need to build a new center or a new property for children to be, or you need the parks, every park updated, you need potholes fixed, you need, there are so many other needs. And I'm not against city workers getting a raise, but they can wait. They're not starving. They can wait just a little bit longer, and or either be added with A, B, C, D, and they're in that range somewhere while we're doing several things. And so, I think that was a waste. I think when you look at that breakdown where the 13 to 15 million came from, you see, wow, you took all of that from here, you took a couple of millions from there, you took a couple of millions from here, you got a couple of million from there, and you took all of that and put it in a unit, a project that is really, who's it going to really help? The people that live down there?
That's why tourism, maybe? I don't know.
But I'm going to use Alicia. I'm going to use Alicia's term, tourists that get shot in the face.
Sure.
First of all, you have to have a safe city. You have to have something people want to come to, other than just we had Jennings Landing, that's beautiful, and right. People use. So, no, I don't think the money was used wisely, and I would have done other things, of course.
Another subset of that environment is Tivoli Lake a shining example of better environmental policy, or where do you see improvements needed?
Well, I listened to what's called the Sherman neighborhood what is it called?
Sheridan Hollow?
Sheridan Hollow, and their agency that they have, and they fight for energy, better energy being used at Empire State Plaza and different places around, and the other agencies that talk about saving the turtle, plastic, and solving that. Also, what do you call it when you the blue bins recycle. Thank you.
Okay.
Blew a blank there. Okay. Yeah, when you recycle, that's not working in our city. That's not. And is anything really a shining example?
Well, what about Tivoli? Do you know about Tivoli Lake and how they changed
Tivoli
it?
Lake. Well, what I remember about Tivoli, if you remember the brownfields.
Yes.
And how toxic the land was. I'm not sure that all of that toxicity is out of there, and I'm not sure if it's safe and environmentally safe still for people.
Okay.
So that's my opinion on that.
And do we have a sound environmental policy in this city?
No, we don't. Because the fight, when you look at the Sheridan Hollow group, there's a fight. They're fighting with the state to get some help to change the way we use electricity, to change the way we use power. They fought against the pipeline, fracking.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people fighting for a safer, clean air Albany,
right.
But we're not getting help from the administration to make it better.
Thank you. Alicia, you want me to read the question again?
Yes,
Because
please,
it's
Mark. Would you read the question again?
Did I hit it all?
You did.
Oh,
you did
okay.
very well. In your opinion, do we have a sound environmental policy in this city? Do we need more alternative energy choices? Is Tivoli Lake a shining example of better environmental policy, or where do you see improvements needed? And finally, the Clinton Avenue walkway over to the Hudson and Corning Preserve that's being built right now. Is that a good way to spend taxpayer dollars when we have so many other financial needs?
Well, the Sky Bridge is not entirely funded by City of Albany tax dollars.
Right.
There is a lot of state tax dollars going there. And so I'll just give you my opinion on the idea in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the idea of the Sky Bridge is so that people supposedly could access the riverfront. But first they're going to walk past, $1 million restaurants on their way down there to stick in a piece of fishing line and catch a humble fish for their dinner. But that being said, so outside of the tax idea, the fact is we have bigger fish to fry, metaphorically, in the city of Albany than to build a Sky Bridge where people, if they want access to the waterfront, they're going to get to the waterfront. And I'm not sounding dispassionate here. I think in concept, having a different avenue is something worth discussing. But I'm telling you, for 100 years in the city of Albany, people, even with 787 going through it, there are people down there all the time. So it's not that it shouldn't be addressed. It's not in the top 5. Okay. And so I think that Sky Bridge is a garbage failed attempt by an administration looking for a legacy for when they move on to greener pastures.
Okay.
That being said,
full of metaphors.
Full of metaphors. I'll get literal if you need me to, Mark. I'm perfectly fine getting literal.
Tivoli Lake.
Okay, so let me show you. So around my wrist,
yes.
I wear these bracelets. Even if I have on my fanciest jewelry, I always wear these 2 bracelets.
The green and white.
Green and white. So the little green bracelet is made out of plastic bottles. And I wear it on my wrist because taking care of our environment is a priority to me. And it keeps me focused every time I look down. Albany they have Fill the Bin, they've got composting. And I actually think we could do more with it. I do. Mm-hmm. I love Victory Gardens and what they're doing down at Victory Gardens, and they're teaching urban farming, and they're teaching people how to give back to the earth and to teach the earth to give to them. We need to address our air, and there are people down people that are way down near the transfer station, they're struggling with clean air issues. There's people up in Rapp Road, they're struggling with landfill issues. These are extremely challenging problems that a lot of cities are tackling, not just the city of Albany. No, our economic approach is another fail from the current administration. Now, I'm not going to, what I want to say is it takes a long time to get where we are. But what the current administration has done is they've made social justice and equity such a high standard for themselves that they forgot the actual people they're supposed to be representing. These people are breathing toxic air. And it's nice to save the turtles, and Tivoli's nice. There's a lot of crackheads back there, by the way. I don't know if you know.
No, I
There's a lot of
didn't.
heroin addicts and drug addicts back there, but you wouldn't know because they go back there and overdose. Oh, and where's the police? Where's the mobile health crisis units? Oh, where's the violence and all the rapes? Oh, there you go. No one's getting down there, current administration, but people do live down there. So anyway, all that to say, I wear this bracelet around my wrist. And I actually put it on my wrist early on in the campaign. I haven't always worn it. I wore it early, when I announced as mayor. One of the toughest challenges outside of safety for me is our environment. And because this is made of plastic bottles, this was a Save the Turtle bracelet. And I wore it very specifically to remind myself constantly that this is a problem that has to be figured out. One of the things I'm going to tell you from my economic plan for the city of Albany is it's a long-term plan, but have you ever heard, and this is, I'm going to dream with you for a minute, Mark. Have you ever heard of Mount Trashmore?
No.
Mount Trashmore, there are several of them around the nation, but my graduate degree, when I got my graduate degree, I actually lived during the school year in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And they had Mount Trashmore. It's the state's largest tourist attraction, and it's a landfill. And they very creatively filled it in, and they created a park and a place where people could go, and they returned the environment back to a usable space. It brings in tourism and revenue. This has been successful in multiple cities across the United States, and there isn't a reason why it couldn't be successful in Albany, New York, except it's not fiscally beneficial to the legacy administration that wants a sky bridge so that people can access the riverfront.
And I have to tell you that something that Valerie will remember is that in Brooklyn, by Starrett City, they had the second largest landfill along the Belt Parkway.
Oh, don't forget the garbage scows on the river.
But they did exactly what you said. They created a Mount Trashmore where they named it the Shirley Chisholm Park. And
it can be done, Mark.
You know, and
it can be done.
And they did it in Brooklyn along the Belt Parkway
There you go.
across from Starrett City's on one side of the parkway.
Right.
And this beautiful state park is on the other side. Now, how they get from one side to the other, well,
maybe they're going to need a sky bridge. So anyway, all that to say, our environmental policies in the city of Albany are also another obvious fail. And if you track what people are saying, they're furious and they feel not listened to. She ripped up 25 mature trees in Lincoln Park to deal with the Beaver Dam water project and put in the basketball courts and all these things. And the community was completely victimized and traumatized because nobody even said anything. And so, and then she put in her baby trees. Okay, well, when some little child who wanted to send her there is 25, he can enjoy its shade. I mean, this is ridiculous, and it does not put people first. And so, as the people's mayor, my administration is a people-focused, people are the solution, and they're our greatest resource. But they have to come first. No more legacies, no more politics. People are breathing toxic air. They're getting shot in the face. They're tripping over potholes. Children are getting hit in the streets where people are banging on your windows on Everett Road. There's ATVs going by. It's turned into like the alternative timeline of Back to the Future, where everything's covered in garbage and there's fires burning everywhere. This is the capital city of the most influential state in the United States of America is Albany, New York. It's the seat of power of our state. People don't realize because they're just trying to survive. They don't realize what's going on above their heads and the level of power they have to flip this vote in November. And I've made it my job to awaken as many people as I can to say, you do not have to accept this. I believe the pen is mightier than the sword. And November, you will have a pen in your hand. And I say, you write your future with your vote.
And I wanted to get a quick yes or no answer. Do we have a sound environmental policy in this city?
No.
Okay. Okay, Alicia, the next question is for you. It's about government transparency. I'm sure this is near and dear to
It's
your
a hot
heart.
topic, Mark.
How would your administration improve government transparency, and what would you do what would you think of the current administration's handling of government transparency?
So I'm going to give you a little adage that I heard that says, do you know why the government wants to take away your guns? It's because they're going to do something you should shoot them for. It's a little Second Amendment joke for you.
I heard that too.
So when it comes to transparency, I have combed through the budget from 2019 and 2020, and it seems transparent because it's available. But I have a master's degree, and I have combed through it with attorneys and CPAs, and there are ambiguous lines on that budget where there is money that is unaccounted for, or it's under a broad sweeping category that now I have to go dig over here and go. This should not be so in the city of Albany. So when it comes to transparency, I'll just give you a couple of things. So my early on in my campaign, it was livability, transparency, and accountability were 3 prongs of my approach to governing in the city of Albany. And what the issue with transparency is, first of all, nobody ever knows what's getting done in the city of Albany with the money that they're paying to live here. People don't understand, why do I have so many potholes? Well, you're not gonna, why do I hit see, click, fix when this and nobody shows up? How come I'm pressing the beg button at the light here and I'm disabled and there's snow and I just tripped over it? How come nobody cleared my snow? One of the things that this administration has been really, really good at is making sure that people are ignorant and uninformed about what's going on. Mark, as a candidate in the city of Albany, I'm sure the current administration will get a good laugh when I say this. It has been backbreaking to figure out what's going on in the city of Albany and show up there with my heels. And so help me God, I get there. But it's often last minute. There was something over by Tivoli actually the other day. And everybody was there, no masks on. She had just instituted a mask mandate in the city of Albany. Nobody was wearing their mask. Paul Tonko was there talking about being a win champion on his Wheaties box. And they stood there and took a bunch of pictures, and they looked like everybody was so happy. Nobody knew about it. Nobody knew that there was no, whenever I go to these events in the city of Albany, there's almost never actual people there. It's all politicians. They're all stodgy, and they've been in place for 40 years, or it's the office staff. Where are the human beings in the city of Albany? Why don't they know what's going on? So in my plan Operation Transform, accessibility, how your city accesses you and how you access your city. You should be able to ask these questions. Whatever, maybe it's a website, I don't know. Maybe remember Jerry Jennings had his talk show. This comes up to me all the time because I'm a journalist. Jerry Jennings had a talk show and we loved calling it Jerry Jennings. And if I told Jerry Jennings there was a pothole, that pothole was filled in because I told Jerry Jennings in his radio show. Well, you're gonna get 5 minutes with Kathy Sheehan and Joe Condon on a Sunday morning in the Albany Street, which is nice, I love Joe Condon, but it's not good enough. It isn't good enough. And so maybe we do the radio show again where people can access the city and ask questions. Hey, how come I was looking at the budget recently and there's $600,000 unitemized under personal expenses during COVID when the current administration said they took a pay cut? How come they're spending $500,000 out of the budget? Can't find what it went to. Maybe it went to office staff. Who knows? Can't find it. So accessibility to your city is paramount to me. And again, there are lots of ideas, like I said, a radio show, whatever that could be. I'm completely wide open to that because people should know what's going on. They should know where their money's going, and they should be able to physically see that there is benefit in exchange for what their government leadership is doing with their money.
And I'm old enough to remember when Erastus Corning was mayor of Albany. And
Our longest mayor.
41 years,
Yes.
mayor of Albany. And he would pick up the phone if you called. And there's a famous story that a woman had a flood in her basement. He went over with a bucket and bailed it out.
There you go.
And that's personal attention.
It is,
You know?
and it's paramount for me. Personal attention, a totally different conversation, but the transparency where you can access your government,
Yes.
it's sadly revolutionary.
Well,
it's a wild idea.
in this day and age with computers and being able to go on the website and look at the budget, I mean,
It's too hard. I already went through it.
It could be easier.
It could be significantly easier. It should not take a experienced journalist with a master's degree who has a master's degree in digging for information and a CPA who's certified in the city of Albany and an attorney who practices law in the city. Yeah. And I had somebody who is in the military. We went through that budget and we had so many questions. It's unacceptable for the city of Albany. Shame on you, current administration. It's time for a new transformation in our administration.
And when you say that Paul Tonko, the example you gave about Tivoli Lake and Paul Tonko, people want to mug for the camera. It's when the cameras show up, the TV cameras show up.
You know what this administration's famous for?
Want.
Taking pictures of people, especially in challenged neighborhoods, and driving off and never coming back. That's what the legacy that this administration leaves behind, is that people are nothing more than a press release and a stepping stone to whatever future they envision for themselves and their leadership. Shame.
Okay, thank you, Alicia. And Valerie, you're up next. How would your administration improve government transparency, and what do you think of the current administration's handling of government transparency?
There's none to very little.
Of what?
Transparency.
Okay.
And, well, you know, transparency means to see through, to be able to, without obstacles in the way. And we have a lot of that. It's hard to know what's going on in the city. A lot of the events, by the time I find out about them, they're done. And I have people who are in the know that didn't know that certain things were going on in the city, and that has to stop. And so we want people to be able to come to City Hall, open door policy. It's a people's, let me just put it this way, to be a mayor is to be a servant to people, to be able to get in that seat, find out what the people want. Like, we're sitting here answering questions. We're answering them to the best of our ability. We're answering them from, the heart of how we think things should go. But when you really get into that seat and you talk to people, like I'm going around now, we're all going around, talking to people, it's so sad. You know, it's they're hungry to be noticed, to be helped, to be respected. I hear people in the city saying they don't even know we're back here, and every time we call about a problem, they put us on the line a long time. No one comes out, and you hear that all around the city, even in well-to-do sections of the city. It's not just Arbor Hill, West Hill. It's not just down in the lower wards. When you see all of those people running for common council seats and you listen to their interviews, they're saying the same thing that Alicia and I are saying, or something similar. They want a change in this city. And I'm running not just to waste money and time and effort or to be seen, but because I care about people and I really want to make a change in this city. Transparency is necessary. We need to know what's going on. We need to know what's going on in the police department. We need to know what's going on with our money. And we need to know who is being fired. There was some stuff going on in City Hall. Somebody was fired. They wouldn't even report it. People were concerned. What did he do? What happened? So, the transparency is very important. And any time that people want to know information that concerns them and they can't find it out, that is very frustrating. And it brings in a high level of apathy. It brings in a level of, we don't care, they don't care, so we're not going to vote. Just getting people to want to vote, to want to be a part of the process is hard. So what would I do? I'd have an open door policy that you can call. I'll have somebody take answering letters. Your letters will not just go in the trash. That's what people think, that the letters they send to City Hall is getting thrown in the trash because they're never getting an answer. People are rude to them when they call. So I would like to just get people from various neighborhoods, leaders, and get them in, because I think information needs to come down from the head, from the mayor's office. I think common council leaders need to do their job and make sure the people they serve get these messages, whatever they have to do to get messages out, send letters out, have their own radio station or have their own cable station with their spot on a radio station where they can get announcements out, where their people know, well, go here if you want to know what's going on in our particular ward, go here. And so that's not happening. And the present Common Council co-signs a lot of what our mayor is doing. She could not do a lot of what she does if they weren't co-signing it. So I wanted, just like recently, the first money spent out of the COVID pandemic money went to what? Salaries. Mm-hmm. And they need their money. I'm not against that. But people were calling me up, say something. No one's saying anything about that. They were angry. There's like, the politicians, no one's saying anything about that. Is it okay to do that? Wasn't it a good idea to say we're going to do salaries, we're going to build something here, and we're going to fix something here along with these salaries coming out? No, that wasn't said. So transparency is very important, and a administration that I would run would be an open door policy, a place where people can find answers and get them as quickly as they can be given out.
Okay, thank you, Valerie. This is our next question goes to you, and the topic is what's near and dear to my heart, Channel Albany.
Oh, Channel Albany, yes, it is dear to my heart too. And
how could the city's public access or community media station known as Channel Albany be used to better inform and communicate with the residents of the city?
First of all, the residents of the city has to know about Channel Albany. There's not enough information out about the channel, and the city doesn't push it. And I've made a couple of shows there, and I was talking to the person who works there, I forget his name now. He said that they have to still send their tapes to Schenectady to go through a process, and then before they can air it and come back. And I'm saying in an administration, Albany is the capital, not Schenectady. Right. Why aren't we able to do that? And we're not able to do that because we're not getting money from the city to do that, to upgrade it to the level that it should be. So Channel Albany is very vital. It is an information vehicle, and more people should know about it, and more people should utilize it. And I think they would, because it's free, number one. And I think that whoever made that deal with the cable company could have made a better deal. And that's what I would definitely.
So let me tell you some other information. Mm-hmm. The current office holder is on the board of proctors. Mm-hmm. The Schenectady cable channel is in Proctor's building and is run partially by Proctor's. The city of Albany is paying $10,000
mm-hmm. Yes.
to the Schenectady cable system,
right,
to do that process, that convoluted process that you were mentioning.
Yes.
So I think it was something to do with the fact that she is on the board of Proctor's, mm-hmm. and that this $10,000 is going to this entity within Proctor's.
Right, and it's backwards. It's backwards. That money can be spent right here to upgrade us, to put us on the top of the page. Mm-hmm. And we could do this here, but we have to have people, we have to have an administration that is concerned, because Cable Albany is about people. It's mm-hmm. about people getting information, people giving information, people sharing ideology and thoughts, and just being in connection with others. And we're not doing that, and it needs to be changed. And the only way it's going to be changed if if the administration itself takes an interest in it, a serious interest in cable Albany, and just do what needs to be done to advertise about it, to give the money that it needs, to hire the people that it needs. Remember, Alicia was talking about the waste in the budget. I'm talking about the waste in the budget. I'm talking about prioritizing and using money wisely. And any one of us knows that you have to have a budget, and a budget is based on what are your priorities. I have to eat, I have to sleep, I have to have clothing to wear, I need a transportation or whatever, and it's just on a higher level with more money in the city to prioritize things. And I think cable
And
Albany,
we need Channel Albany
Channel
as
Albany,
one of those priorities.
that definitely should be.
All right, thank
Definitely.
you. And see, I want to end on a lighter note.
Definitely.
Okay? But
Rah rah for Cable
as
Albany.
Channel Albany. Right
Okay,
here.
I'm sorry.
Channel Albany, right
I
here.
know Cable
Okay.
Albany, but it's cable.
Alicia, I want to ask you the same question. How could the city's public access channels and community media, known as Channel Albany, be used to better inform and communicate with the residents of the city?
Okay. So my undergraduate degree is in broadcasting. So I'm a veteran radio and TV host, and it is certainly near and dear to my heart to have a TV channel here in the city of Albany. A lot of people don't know, as you said, about Channel Albany. A lot of people don't know that there's a line on their Spectrum cable bill that takes out some money that should help fund Channel Albany. And one of the things that I think, first of all, not everybody has cable, but lots of people do. And why on earth would they tune in? There's nothing to tune into on Channel Albany unless you have a very specific niche interest. And I would love to see the city of Albany harness, again, maybe accessibility, how you access your city. I would love to have news bulletins, news magazines from the city of Albany, pieces and features for people throughout the city of Albany. Heck, let's get a cooking show on there where we have recipes from Old Albany. I don't know. We do a historic walking tour. Lots of reasons and that support the city of Albany. Of course, I'm against outsourcing what we're doing to Schenectady, but that's not the only area that matters in Albany that's being outsourced by the current administration. There are a lot of things that we are paying way too much money for other people to do. And because it's all about money, it's not about people. And when you really have a heart to let people know, look, I would love to see more kids get involved. Talk about youth opportunities. Can you imagine if a kid graduates high school and he's an experienced cameraman? Can you imagine that a girl is poised behind the camera and now she can start her own show? I mean, can you imagine, just let your mind run the possibilities of kids. We have WCAA, which is our little radio station downtown on Grand Street. They reach almost nobody. What if they had a little tower? I mean, there are areas in the city of Albany right now as the capital city. We should have a great morning show. Good morning, Albany. I've actually said this before. This is something that's, like I said, near and dear to my heart, not only as a broadcaster and a lover of disseminating information, but also from a mayoral standpoint where people simply are left in the dark. We could have a little C-SPAN where we go into the House and the Assembly, and we find out what the heck they're up to in there. I used to work in the New York State Assembly in the press corps, and I would read the proposed legislation they were putting out, and my jaw would drop. I would read law cases and the things they were arguing, and I thought, people have to know. Does anybody know about this besides me? No, they did not, and they still do not. That's part of transparency, is being able to say, okay, I'm going to tune in because they're filming all day on the hot topic on the floor of the New York State Senate. I want to know, how did my senator vote? I want to watch, what are they saying on the story? Are they going to filibuster something? Whatever that, people sit there and they watch that stuff all day. We are the capital city of New York State. We have, and by the way, the operating budget for Channel Albany, you can correct me because you know it better than I do. Let's dream a little, Mark. Let's say we got $125,000 to do that. Oh, that's about what we bring in on the Spectrum cable bill. So you know what? In fact, I think it's significantly less than we bring in on the Spectrum cable bill. But there is.
I believe it's really more. It's
like
more like $700,000.
So I was going to say about $500,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is so much that can be done in the city of Albany, and all of that would feed in. Maybe instead of a radio show, we do a TV show where you talk to the mayor. Anyway, all that to say, as a broadcaster, yes, Channel Albany has a role to play, and I'm going to get even more specific with you, Mark. I truly believe that the lack of access to Channel Albany and the failure of the current administration to do anything with it, I'm just going to launch this out into the atmosphere. It's a squelching of the First Amendment, the freedom of the press, and the freedom of speech of the people of the city of Albany. Broadcasting from your Facebook page and YouTube is lazy, garbage leadership in government. Now, I can do it because I'm a mayoral candidate, but when I'm in leadership, you know what's going to happen? Facebook page, that's going to take a second seat. YouTube channel, second seat. Maybe all part of the component. But there has to be somebody who isn't in the mayor's office who's watching. That's why we have watchdogs and checks and balances. That's what journalists are. I'm going to get on a soapbox, Mark. That's what journalists are here for, to be a check and a balance. And by refusing to benefit and boost Channel Albany, what the mayor has done is she has removed the freedom of press in the city of Albany. She's defunded the press in the city of Albany, and it's harmed the people of Albany because there's no check and balance to her unabridged power. Somebody has got to stop. That's why I'm running for election in the city of Albany as the people's mayor. Clear and present danger to a garbage failure administration.
Okay, well, I just wanted, we went through 10 topics.
Oh,
in
great
an hour and
conversation.
45 minutes.
Okay.
So
bad.
I would like to ask you, Alicia, if you have a question that you would like to ask your opponent, if you'd like to ask Valerie something, and then I'm going to ask Valerie if there's a question that you'd like to find out and ask Alicia.
Okay,
Okay. Valerie, how can we work together in the city of Albany?
that's great. That's a great question. Seeing that you and I are not very different and wanting to bring about real change here in this city, I am all for working together. I have heard people say that I'm voting for you or Alicia. I'm not voting for
Milady?
that lady. Yes. And so yes,
Cool.
would definitely work together. You know, of course, we watch each other as we run, and I admire your energy,
Thank you.
and I think you and I both could be on Ritalin. 'Cause
I've been told I could take a nap or two.
yeah, but but it's from the heart,
It is.
and we're real, and we tell the truth, and so yeah.
Okay.
Well, we had our
Yes, we could
kumbaya
def-
moment.
Yeah, well, not really, and that's what we
fine.
need in
That's
this.
good.
That's what we need in
That's
this
fine.
in this city.
Well,
You know, we're not
and-
enemies.
Right.
We,
That's,
not
you're an
enemies.
opponent, but you're not an enemy.
Not an enemy.
Right. So, what
different
question would
things.
you like to ask Alicia, Valerie?
Well, I never thought of it, except that I love the question she asked me, how we can work together. The other thing would be how, if you become mayor, I want to be lieutenant. I mean, what's the other
Deputy
name?
mayor.
Deputy mayor. If I become mayor, I want you to, would you be deputy mayor?
Look, I'll tell you, at the end of the day, something has got to change
Yeah.
in the city of Albany. I actually don't use the word change. I use the word transform for a very
Yeah.
specific reason. I'll tell you my secret. It's because change is different to everybody. But when you
Yes, it
transform
is.
something, it's a new creation. And that's really what we're looking for in the city of Albany, is a new creation. And people have told me that the current administration is Goliath. But you know what? I realized it's not true. You know what Goliath is in this scenario? It's the hopelessness in the city of Albany that anything can ever be different. And today, I hope there's been lots of information out there to see there are people of vision, and it can get better. This is not our final chapter, City of Albany.
Okay.
We can take a pen and write a new one.
And Valerie, we'd like to have your closing statement. Tell us what you would like the voters to know about you and leaving a lasting impression of you.
I would like the voters to know that I've been around a long time working in the community, over 30 years actually, and I have fought fiercely for the rights of others in many different venues, and I won't go through all of that now, but I want the voters to know that I am ready, I am dependable, I am a dedicated Democrat who wants to make a change in this city. I believe that we can change. I believe that we can't last very long under the heavy oppression and sadness and murder and mayhem and all the evil that is going on, and there seems to be nothing much done adequately enough to change things, to, or as Alicia says, transform things. But the number one thing is, I don't have all the answers, but that's why I am looking to you as the voters, and as many of you have seen me out there listening to you and telling you that I will work with you as mayor to get some of the changes that we need to happen in the city. You know, I work with your agency. I don't know everything, but if you are working in a particular agency, you know what's going on, you know what's needed. The door will be open for you to come in and chat with me. If you are working on a particular problem in your city, in this city, I will be there to help you solve that problem. So I will be there for everyone in this city. I'll be the Democrats mayor, the Republican mayor, the Green Party mayor, the any party that you're in, whatever race you are, whatever economic status you are. I will be a fair mayor with an open door policy for all people to work together to bring Albany to the shining position that it should be as the capital of New York State. So I'm asking you, I am a write-in candidate. You have to write my name in correctly on the ballot, and I think that's exciting too, that we can just write. That is a definite opportunity. That's what I'm trying to say. It's an opportunity that you have to write my name on the budget correctly.
On the ballot.
On the ballot. Oh, I'll be on the budget too.
Oh, okay.
But on the ballot correctly, and I will spell it. You can go to my website page. You can go to my Facebook page to get information about me, how to spell it correctly. We're out there working diligently. If you see my posters, if you see my door hangers, if you see anything out there, please, you're welcome to call. The number and information is there. I am a serious contender, and I'm looking for you to write my name in on November 2nd. Thank you.
And Valerie, you should know, I think Jack McEnany, when he ran for assembly, he was a write-in candidate.
And
you should talk to him about how he was able to win that race.
And Jennings too.
Was a write-in?
Yes, for a common council.
For common council.
Many years, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would suggest McEnany.
At this juncture, yes.
Okay, Alicia, closing statement.
Okay. My plan for Albany is called Operation Transform. Transform stands for taxes, revenue, accessibility, neighborhoods, safety and policing, facilities, opportunities, resources, and management. I did not create this plan exclusively by myself in a vacuum. This is a comprehensive set of strategies that has been put together with a number of subject matter experts, including civilians, nonprofits, government agencies, military, psychiatry, psychology, sociology. A lot of people have collaborated that I've reached out to and have a vested interest in the city of Albany. I won't turn any help away. Like I said, I believe we are in an all hands on deck situation. And people over politics is not only my focus, but I believe, as I said before, that people are the greatest resource we have in the city of Albany. After I saw the low turnout in the Democrat primary for the current administration, I realized that this election is a numbers game at the end of the day. It's not about politics. It's not about power. It is about people. But if you want Albany to transform, you're going to have to do something transformative. And that may be how you vote. So remember, in November, when you have a pen in your hand, you can write your future. And it's Operation Transform Alicia Purdy for Mayor. Come to transformalbany.com. Everything you need is there. You can read more. You can contact me and get a lawn signed, whatever it is. I look forward to leading in a transformative way that puts people first.
Okay. Thank you, Alicia.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Valerie.
Thank you.
And, wow, We covered a lot of ground today,
Yes, we did.
and this was such a well-informed and wonderful exchange of ideas. And that's what I was looking for. I called this a debate, but it turned quickly into a conversation and more of, what your thoughts are as opposed to the two of you going at it with each other. And that's why I was sitting in the middle, so that you protect everyone. But this was a wonderful exchange of ideas, and I want to thank our partners who made this happen. WCDB 90.9 FM, the Albany Student Television, and Channel Albany. Thank you all. And thank you to our two candidates, Republican Alicia Purdy and write-in hopeful Valerie Faust. We are planning on having a second debate that includes independent candidate Greg Idala, and we're going to have that in October, so stay tuned. I'm Mark Ronich, and a proud alumnus of the University at Albany, class of '81.